Since it was first introduced, the Phoenix LDO1 has served me well. I bought one as soon as I noticed it. It was quite a huge leap forward in terms of flashlight technology back in the day. Q5 emitter providing up to 80 lumens with just a single AAA battery in a keychain flashlight format. That was crazy. And I couldn't be happier with it. I mean, it has served me well all these years. Guys, this is Fernando doing another video for The Modern Survivalist. And as you can imagine, the video is not about this flashlight, but the one that's going to be replacing it. And, you know, I'm not afraid of doing that. If I see something that it's worth upgrading to, I will do so. I'm pretty picky, but I'm not always going insane over every little detail, you know. If there's a very slight upgrading technology, maybe, at least for me, it's not worth upgrading to. If I find something that it's offering significant advantages, then I'm not afraid of changing it. And that's what I'm doing here with this flashlight. Guys, this is the Olight model EOS i3S. As you see, let's first take a look at how it comes in a nice gift box. Actually, if you're thinking of giving away one of these as a gift, that's already something you notice. It's a nice case. It comes in the cardboard box on the outside, plastic case, push. Okay, we'll do that. You open it up. Let's see first of all what we get for our money here. And you have, of course, a small manual. Little manual with instructions, which we're going to be taking a look later on. Have a small bag with a couple of O-rings, which is nice to have always, as long as you remember to keep them and not lose them. Then you have, of course, the actual flashlight, which we're going to be getting to in a second. And you have this keychain link, which, you know, it's nice, it's not bad. In my experience, these things sometimes end up causing you to lose your flashlight, especially with these links. You see this? And accidentally it somehow ends up, you know, jamming in a certain way that force is applied to it. They open up enough so that you end up losing them. You know, either this or some of these other links end up opening up, you know, and this doesn't seem to be extremely tough. So I prefer to have it attached directly to the keychain itself and not have this little chain here thing going on. And actually very nice. It actually does come with a battery, which not all flashlights do. So yeah, you know, it seems to be, this isn't very preparedness or survival related, but it's nice to see that if you're buying this for someone, you're getting a nice setup. Seems to be like a Duracell battery. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Actually, a pretty good battery. So that's what it comes with in the little gift box that you have. Taking a look at the actual flashlight itself, first of all, you notice that it's in red. And I'm perfectly happy with that. I like red, especially for these small keychain items. Usually they're so small that if you ever have to use them in less than ideal circumstances, there's a good chance that you will end up losing them. So red, bright orange, yellow, those are all colors that I favor rather than black. And since you have a good amount of options with the Olight in terms of colors, it comes in black as well, comes in, I think, yellow, blue, purple. So you have a few options there. The link would be going here to this V-shape ring, which has a small tube there. I don't know if you're going to notice that. So as to prevent that from happening, what I was saying before, the ring actually opening up and losing the flashlight. This should be holding on pretty well. And you have a good amount of material there of aluminum holding it in place, so it's not as likely to wear out and break off. The flashlight is 5 centimeters, no, it's actually 7 centimeters long. it's a little bit smaller than the Phoenix LDO1 that's going to be replacing in my case. And it may not seem like that much of a difference, but with small keychain tools, every little bit of weight and volume and length adds up. So it's nice to have something that is actually smaller. You also have a clip that is removable. You can push it out and put it in the other direction. This would be handy for those that use hats, like baseball caps, and you could put this, changing position, you could put this attached to your baseball cap and use it as a headlamp, which is something that some people do find useful, especially if you do have a cap, a hat with you. Then that's another function that you could have right here. In terms of the manual and the options that you have, the modes and such, as I was saying before, it uses a single AAA battery, and it basically has 3 modes, which we find here. Output and runtime, 80 lumens, which is the maximum output, 35 minutes. It's actually more like 30 minutes rather than 35. 20 lumens, 8 hours, and 0.5 lumens, 60 hours. Then it has a hidden mode, which is a strobe, which you actually reach by cycling twice through the different modes. When you actually look at the flashlight, you will find that the first mode is the medium one, which is the 20 lumens that's going to be lasting 8 hours. The second mode is the high, that's going to be lasting 30 minutes at 80 lumens. And the third mode is the moonlight mode, which is just half a lumen. The light emitter, the LED, is a Cree XPG2, which has nice coloration. It's I find it to be a pleasant white, slightly yellowish, if I had to describe it some way. Maybe the Q5 was a little bit green. It's not that different actually when comparing both side by side. It's not that much different, but it's a very nice, very pleasant, well balanced white color. It's not awfully cold or anything like that, which sometimes is the case. It would be a little bit more floaty than the Q5 emitter, but I find that the main reason for upgrading was the way in which I have a medium mode of 20 lumens, which is the most practical one for everyday tasks. I still have the very bright 80 lumen high mode, but then I have that great moonlight mode that lasts for 60 hours. That gives you a huge advantage if you ever have to use this light for disaster preparedness, in terms of going without power for long periods of time. Blackouts last several days, or emergencies where you need light for a really long period of time. In those cases, having that mode is so much more important than having an 80 lumen blast of light, which is going to be lasting just 30 minutes. This would be great if you have to improvise with your keychain flashlight so as to make signals, or for finding someone, searching for someone that has been lost. That would be okay. But if you're talking about needing light for extended periods of time, that low mode is gonna be what does it for you. And finally, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there I went through it. You have that strobe mode. Now, this is not a tactical flashlight, as you obviously notice, especially with this user interface, which, it's a twisty, it's a hidden mode. This is more about making your position noticed if there's ever an accident, or if you're ever hurt and you're lost, or something like that. This is what this hidden mode is there for. It is not a tactical flashlight, and it's not intended to be used in such a way. Even though it's pretty bright, It could, if caught someone by surprise and blast in the face with it, it may cause a little bit of a confusion. I'm not much of a big believer in terms of disorienting an extremely determined attacker with a strobe. I understand that it has a purpose, but in this case, I'll say that right away. And this is just the way it was intended. It is intended as something for signaling, not tactical defensive use. And I will say that in the past I have found myself needing just this function in my LDO1, which doesn't have it. I think I've told before about this little incident that I had in Spain, where we had a problem with our vehicle. We ended up having to walk back home, and I had my flashlight that did have a strobe mode. My EDC flashlight back then had a strobe mode, and my other flashlight, which was my Keychain flashlight, which was this one, did not have it. So I think I was carrying my youngest son. My wife was walking by the hand with my oldest son, and one of us had the one with the strobe, and the other one had the one that doesn't have it. So even though it is still 80 lumens and it does help, I remember thinking how nice it would have had to have both lights being capable of using that strobe mode, so as to make our position even more obvious when walking across the highway and trying to avoid the vehicles as we reached safer ground. So I remember just that. I remember thinking, well, it would have been great if I had a strobe in this little light as well. So the upgrade is both the strobe mode. The upgrade is the 0.5 lumen 60-hour mode as well. It's a better emitter as well. So it's overall and a red color, which is more visible. All in all, it's more functions, more things that this little Olight EOS i3S is capable of. So definitely worth upgrading to, at least in my opinion. It has water resistant rating of IPX8. I think it's it's not awfully, it's not a diving light, but it's gonna be doing okay even if it's raining a lot and it gets wet. Impact resistance of 1.2 meters, so it should be okay there. Orange peel reflector. It's more of a floaty, as I was saying before, a floaty kind of light rather than more of a throw. Now these little Keychain lights, they don't have a great throw anyway, but this one has just a little bit more of a throw than the Olight. If we look on the inside, well, you have that O-ring, which you should be remembering to keep lubricated with silicone grease, and the threads are actually very good. These are square threads. Now if I'm getting that to focus, those square threads do feel very, very nice. I would be adding just a little bit more of silicone grease, so as to maybe, just in case. It comes well lubricated, but a little bit more could be nice to have there. It comes with a warranty. The first 30 days are covered by the dealer that sold it to you. Then you have 24 months of cover by Olight. Any repairs, Olight is going to be taken care of during those first 24 months, and even after that, after those 24 months, they're going to be just charging you for any parts that need replacement. The labor is on them, it's on Olight. So all things considered, it's a pretty good warranty that you have here. I'm very happy. I mean, I haven't tested as much, I haven't had it for years as I've had my little Phoenix LDO1, but I could tell you right away, just based on the functions that it has, the design, that it's a little bit more smaller, a little bit more practical with these more useful modes. Some people were saying about the user interface and the mode setup not being that great. I find that it works well. I mean, you have a medium practical general purpose mode as your first option, then you have that high mode in the second one, and finally the low one. Some people were saying, well, if I'm trying to save battery, then it would be better to have first low, medium, high. How much are you going to be saving? I find it to be practical enough the way it is. So guys, I think that as of today, based on my research and people's experience and various reviews that I've been seeing, the Olight EOS i3S is probably the best single AAA keychain LED light that you have out there in the market as of right now. So consider it, especially given the nice presentation box. It could be a pretty good gift as well if you're not looking for one yourself. Guys, that's all for now. Remember to subscribe. More stuff coming up. See you on our next video. Have a great day.